to Saturday night football. It is a beautiful night at Subiaco in Perth for West Coast versus Carlton. And Luke, huge ramifications for the Blues tonight if they lose.
Yeah, a bit for both sides tonight, Quarters. Carlton obviously just hanging on to the 8th. They were looking towards the top 4 a few weeks ago, but they lose today, and a heap of pressure comes the way of the Carlton Football Club. And it's great with the West Coast Eagles, with their big win against Essendon last week. All of a sudden, they want to get off the bottom of the ladder and not win the wooden spoon. There's their lineup. We know they're young and inexperienced, but Lacroix has just created so much excitement over here in the West with one of the best individual games I've seen in the last 10 years.
Yes, 12 goals, 2 last week. The big question, who's going to get the job on him tonight, first up?
I reckon you'd go with Jamison as your best out-and-out defender. Jordan Russell had the job last time they met, but I think Jamison is a really good stopper and probably the matchup you'd think you'd start with. The Carlton side had, I reckon, some really good balance in their forward line early because they were getting consistent performances out of their small forwards. O'Halpin goes out, so now Henderson and Waite, I reckon, will probably end up starting forward. So they need a contest from those two guys and a bit of pressure. We're standing near the Carlton race, and you just get this feeling they know how big today's game is.
Sure, Willie, I'm going for the Blues by a point.
Blues by 10 for me. It'll be a close one, but so much on it for Carlton. I think they'll get home in a close game.
Here's the opening bounce. So away we go. Nat Newey, great tap to start proceedings. Yep. So it's a free kick game to the West Coast Eagles anyway.
Why would they play advantage given that they were streaming inside 50, so really penalised here.
So Prittis was the first kick of the match. Goes out wide, and that's a lovely mark taken by Strike, who was pretty good last week. Strike goes long looking for Lynch. Couldn't take the mark. A little bit high court was Selwood. Umpire let it go. Judd had to get rid of it quickly. Now, nice piece of play here by Gibbs. Good link play. Goes to the wing. Betts used his body beautifully. Outmanoeuvred. His opponent Shepherd goes to half forward. The chase is on now. Hearn will get there first. And a bit of respite here as Brown has the football.
Works it out for Rosa, who's got Embley and Natanui to sort things out. And Selwood further up the wing if he wants to use him. Decides to go solo, Natanui. Get the crowd involved early. Not bad tactics. Embley to half forward. They're buzzing the Eagles. Lynch, bit of a trimmed down version these days. Kicks deep. Lacroix! Oh, he almost could have been paid that. Bauer wouldn't be hurried. Got the handball out to Scotland. Ball buzzing around in the opening minute or two here at Subiaco. Walker. Just a couple of ordinary handballs. Murphy got shoved out of the action. Cleared the path for Strike. Now it's Selwood. Back to Strike. Embley. Bit of an aimless kick.
Got a good indication there as Jordan Russell's taking the mark. Just how quick Lacroix was off the mark. He started side by side, Russell, and got 5 metres on a 20-metre lead on him.
Happy birthday, Lee. Heath Scotland turned 30 this week. Yes. A great career for Carlton after moving from Collingwood.
And you see Henderson leading up on Subiaco. Carlton have lost 11 of their last 13 here. That's probably because they couldn't get the ball past centre forward to Favola. They've started with Henderson, Waite and Hampson all across the half forward and full forward line.
Carazzo has the football. Long kick, looking for Hampson. Couldn't quite take the mark. Selwood was front and centre. And a stoppage.
I want to ask you then, Lordy, take us through playing forwards here at how you set up and what's important in terms of being able to get an avenue to goal.
Ideally, I prefer 2 talls on the forward line, but at Subiaco you nearly need 3. 2 working across from 50 to 70 and then someone deep out of the goal square.
Tearing kick was by Rosa. Lacroix got an ordinary bounce. Follows up the work though. Somehow manages to find some space. Beautifully done by Lacroix. Shows great turn of speed too as he goes into the pocket. Just overcooked the kick, but gee, it was nice play from Mark Lacroix.
And that would be the reason they've gone with Russell, just because they'd be concerned about Jamison in terms up the ground, but I think inside 50 he's the best option.
Turnover here, Strike. Kicks the goal. Andrew Strike playing just his 5th game of footy. That's his 5th goal taken in the rookie draft from West Perth, and a bad turnover from the Blues.
Yeah, horrible mistake there over the head of Andrew Walker in his first game. Strike picks it up and kicks the goal. We made mention in the pre-game about Carlton's poor starts, Lordy. They've been outscored by 15 goals in the first quarter.
in the last 5 games. And at Subiaco, we've got a really big crowd in here tonight. If they get ahead of steam up West Coast, they're very hard to beat.
They are, and what a story Strike's been. He's a tradesman. Only 2 years ago he suffered osteitis pubis the last few years, and they've got 4 rookies playing tonight, and he's one of them.
What about the sunset tonight, Hutto? It's magnificent, isn't it?
Yes.
Makes you want to stay a few days more, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Cox got the tap down.
Hasn't got the football, Scott Selwood. Scott Selwood, thanks, mate.
Crowd voiced their appreciation of that free kick. And the ball now in the hands of Ashley Smith, another one of this new brigade for the West Coast that we're seeing. This is Kennedy, of course, against his old club. Penetrating kick, Russell playing in front and draws the high contact. So Russell swings it to Walker, who's been pretty prolific this year, averaging 23 per game, just 18 last week. Opposition sides are a little wary of the damage he can do. This is Gibbs, as we mentioned, had 45 touches last time they played the Eagles. Tough to match that tonight. Simpson getting some treatment there from Scott Selwood. It's Allard was in there for a moment, but Rosa backs out of the pack. Comes up with the footy and feeds Brown. Has a terrible handball, did no favours to Scott Selwood, who gets mobbed and mugged by the Carlton skipper.
Dean Cox opposed to Robbie Warnock. There's a shot of the two of them. Dean Cox, when he's up and running, is the best athletic ruckman in the competition. He's been crook all week, but I can see already he's really trying to run Warnock off his feet.
Nicely worked by West Coast as they get it to half forward. Joseph held them up. Got the handball off to Jamison, who's going to switch. Kick will have to be good. It's a one-on-one here. Schofield does the spoiling. Front and centre was Yaron, overran it. That's inside West Coast 50, but mopping up is Bauer. And that's another poor kick. Waters couldn't quite take the mark. Henderson's gang tackled by a couple of Eagles. And ball's nicked by Waters. Can't quite control it. Footy's still alive. Scott Selwood's there. Now Hearn squeezed the kick out looking for Cox. Couldn't quite find him. Murphy to Scotland. Back to Murphy. Kicks to half forward. It's a good one.
One-on-one here for Betts if they go long.
And they do, and Betts does.
It's amazing watching this game. We were all there last night to see Hawthorn and St Kilda play, and the pressure around the ball, and you just saw it was so hard to break free, whereas tonight it's a real contrast because it's wide open spaces and open forward lines.
And Eddie Betts, who just run a little cold in the last couple of weeks with just 1 goal in his last 2 matches. Now there's a whistle here. And a goal gifted to Jared Waite against Mitch Brown.
Arguing the point, Mitch Brown, but not going to succeed there. I think this is where Jared Waite should stay for Carlton. I know he can play other ends of the ground, keep him forward, get him some consistency.
Scores level. Yes, I think last week Jared Waite worked up the ground. He had 18 disposals, but just kicked the 1 goal. Took heaps of marks, but he's got to be close to goal, doesn't he?
Sometimes, because you can play other roles, end up not being great in any of them. And I know that the flexibility of being able to throw him down back is a great option. But Carlton's forward structure is the thing that at the start of the year we all thought was going to be the issue. He can play there. I would keep him up forward.
And in the midfield, the man you've got to stop is Matt Prittis, and Allard's got the big job. I think if you can stop him, you're halfway home in beating the Eagles. He's such a good clearance player.
He's just had 1 disposal so far.
#1 in the competition in clearances, contested possessions and hard ball gets is Matt Prittis, and 3rd in tackles, so having a wonderful year. Waters tried to find Marston unsuccessfully. Walker couldn't control it. Picked up by Hams. Had a ripping game last week against the Bombers. And he teamed well with this man, Lacroix, keeps it alive. Oh, surely not. Lacroix, magnificent. Oh, he knew what he was doing. And that is class personified.
He is an incredible player, isn't he, Mark Lacroix? You are in sensational touch, aren't you, when you can do this? Picked it up with 1 hand. How clean was that pick-up? 2 steps on the boundary line under pressure. And then to be able to sum it up in that unbelievably short amount of time, hit it as well as you did, Lloydie. That's just about the goal of the year for me.
You're right, and he's had 2 disposals tonight, and both of them have just been class all over him and full of confidence that he's playing with. And it's rare in your career that you actually feel this good about yourself, and he is on top of his game at the moment.
When you're hot, Hutto.
Just how clean he took that, Hutto. That ball was bouncing. You stuck one hand out, and it just stuck there as though it wasn't going anywhere else. When you're in good form, you just want to keep making the most of it. Great start for him.
And the old quarter metre getting a fair run earlier too, just quietly. There's Embley out of the middle. Oh, Selwood awkward. Umpire gives him some latitude. Simpson, only 13 disposals last week. He's being latched onto as a key man to stop most weeks. Carazzo looks like he has a defensive job on Hearn. Pokes the ball up to the lead. It came out nicely, fed from Yaron. Murphy used the time and space he had, but maybe could have laid it off, Lloyd.
Yeah, there was Henderson. You can see he's looking at Mark Murphy, and that should be one there. He just a 20-metre short kick to Henderson. Should be lining up for goal right now.
Waters put Brown under a little bit of pressure, but good enough to get out of it. Embley. So now the ball worked to the wing. Cox against Hampson. Comes out the back of the pack. Picked up by Ebert. Keeps the footy alive. Inside 50. Awkward bounce. Nicely trapped by Natanui. Stripped of the ball by Jamison. Selwood can't get the handball away. Now comes out to Simpson. One of the real barometers for the Blues. Waters. So West Coast get it back again. Kick to half forward. Here's a big opportunity. Plenty of time to use it. Does have Lewis Stevenson, and he uses it well. Good kick.
West Coast
going back to have the shot is Ebert.
At 2 or 3 loose players everywhere inside 50 there, Lloyd. It's a really ordinary sign for the Carlton defence to have been exposed as badly as they were on that occasion.
It was. And just, sorry, to that previous start. Here's Mark Murphy. Watch Henderson there. That is a must-give, and that is not good enough for Mark Murphy taking the shot when there was a man in a better spot.
6 goals this season for Brad Ebert, and that's number 7. And the Eagles get their 3rd.
Well,
yeah, spot on there. That was a bad. That was bad from Murphy, wasn't it?
Really bad, and that actually undermines the whole team structure. When you don't give the obvious one, then you start second-guessing your teammates, and you start doubting the whole structure that are in front of you. Now, players have got good enough vision to see that. If you go back and kick it, okay, but you've always got to give off the obvious one. And at the other end, their defence, there were loose players inside 50. Bad signs early for Carlton.
The Eagles head out of the centre. And they've got full of confidence. 11-point lead. Rosa to half forward. It opens up for Shepherd. Just misjudged it at the crucial moment.